Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel, and I am not even going to try to monetize this video. The thing I'm going to talk about today almost seems like an April Fool's joke, but first of all, I'm way too late for April Fools, and this is entirely true. Okay, fellas, so do you remember the name John Hinckley Jr.? Now, I know some of you are just too young to remember that name, but John Hinckley Jr. is the man who attempted on March 30th, 1981, to assassinate then-President Ronald Reagan. He did actually shoot the president, as well as several Secret Service agents, but no one died. Now, Hinckley, of course, was immediately caught, but after the trial, he was found not guilty by reason of insanity. Now, that, of course, was back in the early 80s, and he spent decades in psychiatric treatment. But these days, he's been out for a while now, and he plays guitar, and he released an album last year, and this year he has a show coming up. So as strange as it sounds, the man who attempted to assassinate President Ronald Reagan in the early 80s today is a gigging guitarist with an album. Now, there are two articles about this that I want to share with you. Both of them are from guitar.com, and as usual, I'm going to have links down in the video description below where you can read the original articles. One article is about the album that he released last year, and the new article, or the second article, which is the newest article, is about his upcoming show, which is this year in July. Now guys, we're going to get into the articles in just a second here, and I just want to say real quickly, this is obviously kind of a sensitive issue. You know, a lot of people have different political opinions and what role the government should play in people's lives and that kind of stuff. And I don't really want to get into that stuff, but just let me get through the bulk of this video. Let me get through the articles, and then I want to sort of just ask you guys at the end of the video how you feel about what this guy is doing now, and, you know, do people deserve second chances, and is that always the case, or there's some situations where they don't, and that kind of stuff. I want to talk about that stuff, but let me get through the bulk of the video first and talk about these articles, and then we can get into all the crazy debates towards the end of the video. And of course, I want to talk to you guys about that in the comments section. But let's go ahead and get into these articles. Now, real quick, as always, if you guys enjoy staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, let's check out this first article, again on guitar.com. It says, Ronald Reagan shooter John Hinckley scheduled for Brooklyn show. In quotes, ticket sales are good. The shooter-turned-singer has booked himself a show at the Market Hotel on the 8th of July. John Hinckley, the man who attempted to assassinate President Ronald Reagan, will perform a live show in Brooklyn this summer. It goes on here to recap. In 1981, John Hinckley Jr., who now goes by John Hinckley, shot then-President Reagan and 3 others in a failed assassination attempt. After spending 34 years under institutional psychiatric care, Hinckley was released in 2016 into the custody of his mother. Following his release, Hinckley began making music and has since released 10 songs on Spotify and more than 30 onto his YouTube channel. Last Friday, the shooter-turned-singer announced on Twitter that he will be performing some of his songs live at an upcoming show at Brooklyn's Market Hotel on the 8th of July. He tweeted, "I am very excited about my upcoming show. Ticket sales are good. July 8th, Market Hotel in Brooklyn, New York." Hinckley also noted that special guests would be making appearances. I'm super curious about that. It's not me, just in case you're wondering. Now, the next part of the article here, I think really kind of, you know, sums up the big controversy here. And it says, the announcement was met with mixed reactions, with many on Twitter demanding an explanation as to why Market Hotel would book someone who had previously tried to kill a president. The hotel replied, the man served 40 years in prison/mental health treatment, paid his debt to society. Several darlings of indie music had mental health issues, plus committed violence/tried to kill people. Daniel Johnson, for instance, attempted murder more than once and tried to crash an airplane. So they're not exactly defending Hinckley himself, but they're defending the idea that he can kind of move on with his life and do other things and not be judged today for things that he did 30 or 40 years ago. That's the position of the venue, at least. Okay, so now let's go over to the second article. This is the article that talks about the album that he released last year. Again from Guitar.com. John Hinckley Jr., who shot and nearly killed Ronald Reagan, releases 10 songs on Spotify. The tracks are folk songs featuring Hinckley singing and playing guitar. They've got some classic photos of him. Look there. I must say, he looks like an assassin in these photos. I mean, he does not look like he is up to anything good. The article goes on here. John Hinckley Jr., the man who attempted to assassinate U.S. President Ronald Reagan, has made a small catalog of recorded songs available on Spotify and other streaming services. The publishing of his catalog follows a ruling from October 2020 in which a judge allowed Hinckley to publicly display his writings, artwork, and music. So that's interesting. So prior to that, he was not allowed to. Now, they do a quick recap here, and we've kind of already gone over this in the earlier part of the video. So most of the middle part of the article is, recapping what happened in the 80s. And again, that he's been under psychiatric care until 2016 when he was released from that. Now, this article here was released last year in 2021, and it says in this article, last month it was announced, so that's last year, it was announced that he will be granted unconditional release beginning in June of next year. June of next year, which is now this year, and his show is in July, so it's going to be the month after his full unconditional release. Legal representatives for Hinckley stated doctors had found he has, quote, sufficiently recovered his sanity and will not, in the reasonable future, be a danger to himself or others. Okay, guys, so those are the articles there. Now, I really want to tell you guys, I'm really kind of torn about this, and I want to know how you guys feel about this whole situation. On one hand, he tried to kill the President of the United States. And even though he didn't kill him, he did wound him and seriously injure several other people. And none of that, I think, should ever be taken lightly. But on the other hand, he was found at the time to be insane. And certainly when, there are extreme mental health conditions involved, people can do all kinds of crazy things that under normal circumstances they wouldn't do. And the other part of that is that according to the government and the doctors, they're saying now that he is fully rehabilitated and that he's basically ready to be a functioning, contributing member of society. So I think it comes down to the question of, should everybody get a second chance, even when they've done something really terrible in the past? I want to know what you guys think about this, and really what it comes down to, like in a practical sense, is would you stream his music or buy his album, or would you even consider going to one of his shows? Would you see that as supporting a criminal, or would you view it more as supporting someone who has made positive changes in their life? Should this new chapter of his life be judged completely independently from what happened before? I mean, imagine if this guy somehow ended up winning a Grammy. How would you feel about that? Okay, so I imagine there's going to be a lot of debate down in the comment section below. I'm going to make some popcorn, and then I'm going to be looking forward to reading all of that. Again, I'm going to have links for the original articles down in the video description below. And guys, I hope this has been an interesting and entertaining video for you. If it was, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.